can't see you. Alright guys, welcome back to Book Dust Media.
It's kind of moving.
My name is Alex, part-time reader, full-time book reseller, joined by my lovely and beautiful and talented wife.
Oh, that was sweet. Each time it gets cuter.
Bethany, welcome.
Thank you.
This is our second episode of Read or Pass. These are all books I picked up while at thrift stores. We're going to jump right into it because you can see we have a huge stack to get through.
It may or may not fall during this recording. We're going to see. If it falls though, I think it'll be entertaining or painful. I'm not really sure.
First up, we got Stephen King, Pet Sematary. This is something I do plan on reading. There's a few Stephen King books I want to read. This is definitely one of them. The most frightening book Stephen King has ever written. Sorry, I was blocking your face.
Well, you give me such nice compliments. Now
And
it's
then I
time
block
to block
your
my
face.
face.
I'm getting nervous here, guys.
It's
so
okay.
I'm going to divide this stack. It's going to be painful.
It's going to be painful when it falls.
Next up, we have The Cave of the Ancients.
The author of The Third Eye.
Something about his third eye. I don't know. I have no idea what this is about. I just picked it up. I know it looks pretty old here. It is a sequel.
It's a sequel to The Third Eye.
Sequel to The Third Eye. I'm not going to read The Third Eye, so I'm not going to read this book. Do you want to read The Third Eye so you can read this book?
No.
No, so this is going to be a pass.
Yeah.
No one is reading that.
The Princess and the Opal Mask. I think I did look this one up.
You did.
I did, and
Nothing about this cover makes me want to read it at all.
yeah, every fairy tale ending has its price. It might be kind of interesting. I'm sorry, but
It's a pass.
I think it's a pass.
It does have a map, though.
It does have a map
I
to
always
the
like
Weeping
books that-
Forest.
Emo Forest.
Yeah, the Opal Mountains. I do like opals.
I think we're going to pass on this one. Leave a comment if anyone has read this book before.
The Gates of Heaven, the third volume of the Seven Brothers. This looks cool.
It looks very cool. And it's in good condition for a used book.
It is.
But it's the third.
It's the third. So you have to thrift the first two.
I'm going to look it up. Definitely looks interesting.
It does look cool.
So it's going to be a maybe, but I will have to find the other ones.
Concluding volume, so it's the last one, maybe.
If you read the first two volumes, guys, is it worth me
Fantasy epic.
seeking out the other two books to read this? Definitely has my attention. It's going in a maybe pile. Next up is Ready Player One. This is a book I do want to read.
It's dystopian, is it? I feel like
Yes.
it's like a dystopian.
Delightful. The grown-up version pretty much is what it's saying of Harry Potter. I think there was a reference when I was reading this earlier of kind of Matrix.
I feel like it's a dystopian trials.
Incredible entertainment, a Greek
game?
fantasy.
Trials and games, kind of more like Hunger Games. When it says Harry
Okay,
Potter,
here it is. Enchanting Willy Wonka meets the Matrix. So that's what
Willy
I was looking for.
Wonka meets the Matrix.
Yeah, it definitely has my attention. I think I talked to actually Soda City Flips about this book.
Oh,
And
okay.
he mentioned reading this book as well. I'm going to check this book out. It's going in my want to read list of books.
I'm just trying to wrap my mind around Willy Wonka
And Matrix.
meets the Matrix.
The Matrix was for a long time. I mean, one of my favorite
Okay,
movies.
I think I get what they're saying now that I'm thinking about it. Okay.
They're going to be dodging chocolate bars?
Well, somebody got the chocolate. Hunger Games, you gotta get picked. You get picked with that. Yeah.
The golden ticket.
The golden ticket, yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I got it.
That's what that was where my mind. I could be wrong though.
Next up we have Stephen King, If It Bleeds, not on my current Stephen King list of books I do want to read, but I am going to keep this book and maybe I will eventually get to this one. I've actually never really heard about this book, so I don't know what it's about, but I am going to keep it. I pretty much keep every Stephen King book that I find.
You're going to make me pick this one. You're going to make me.
Isn't that one of her more popular books?
This
too?
is the one they just made the movie about.
So
This
you
is
gotta,
the one that
you gotta read
people
it so you can watch the
Keep
movie.
talking about because this is the one that they just made the movie about. My issue here
What
is
is it?
I'm not big. Like I'm kind of
Colleen Hoover, isn't it more
It's-
murder mystery type books?
Yeah, and I feel like it's like a weird romance, murder, mystery kind of thing. This one might just be more romance in general. I like fantasy. If I was gonna join the Holly Cooper fan club, this is the first one I would start with.
So it's a maybe?
Yeah.
You know, I have like 3 copies of that book. I pick them up anytime I see them because I know she's very popular, so.
Yeah, I like fantasy. So it doesn't have that. And I like fantasies that are set more in like medieval times.
It's a maybe if I run out of epic fantasy books to read.
Or you leave it in the comments that I really probably should
If you
read
guys
it,
recommend this, that Bethany reads it, maybe.
Or if you've read any of her books, if you recommend a starting place for one of her books.
Well, I don't think they tie together at all, so they're just standalone novels.
This is 2. There's 2.
Oh, okay.
That went with this one. There's this one and then there's a sequel. And they just made the movie, I believe, of this one. It ends with us and it starts with us or something? Maybe.
All I have to say is, I know she's super popular, but I come across the book so much in the thrift store, people don't want to leave it on their shelf as a trophy after they read it. So is it really that good?
Are you going to try to say the same thing about the Court of Thorns and Roses? Because those show up at thrift stores a lot too. And I liked it.
Not as much. This is everywhere.
Not as good as the other one.
Alright, moving on, changing it up. Dungeons and Dragons.
That's not a book.
DVD. I'm going to watch it.
Okay.
Going into my watch list.
Oh, but it was books.
Oh, sorry. On to the next book.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, yes, I do want this. The Last Days of Magic. This is fantasy. And it's my people. It's the Irish people. It's my people. Yes.
I think it had a good rating, too, on Goodreads.
It does have a good rating. And it's a pretty good rating.
Cover on there. It looks cool.
And it's fairies.
The Last Days of Magic. Oh, it's fairies, huh?
I think it's fairies. It's fairies. It's Celtic fairies. It's Irish fairies.
So they're fairies.
With uppers, maybe? They're drunk fairies. They're drunk fairies? They're
drunk fairies prancing around in kilts. It's a fantastical treat.
The Irish fairies.
Irish fairies.
Irish fairy clans.
Enjoy your Irish fairies.
I'm kind of excited about it. It's a standalone too, and I do a lot of long series. So it's nice every once in a while when I'm sad that my series
for
ends.
sure. The first for sure that you're going to read out of the stack.
This is it. I read soon.
It looks cool.
A novel of a warrior queen.
Definitely, man, it's in good condition. Looks interesting.
In a world of passion, prophecy, and magic, a legend comes to life. It sounds epic-y.
I'm just going to set this in front. I mean,
I'm going to put it over here
it's a maybe. Don't know much about it. I'll have to kind of look more into that. Here's one that I was very excited to find, but I thought I was finding the Holly Black series. There's a couple series out there right now. The cover art kind of looks the same on all of them. Kingdom of the Wicked, James Patterson presents. So I don't know if this is James Patterson's publishing company put this out, but you were excited about this one, something you've been looking for, or did you think it was from a different series too?
I think it might have thought it was from a different series. I think I have seen it pop up. The author of The Stalking Jack the Ripper comes this deliciously new series. I understood why some thought kissing one of the wicked was addictive. Each time his tongue touched mine, it felt as if the ground beneath me quaked.
Whoa.
Like we were
spicy.
A cosmetic event that shouldn't be. I don't.
Is it number 1?
I feel like it is a number 1. 2 sisters, one brutal murder, a quest for vengeance that will unleash hell itself in an intoxicating romance.
So it's a romance?
It's a
murder mystery romance? Is it fantasy though?
Yeah.
All right, it's got cool. Let's open this up here.
It's a romancy probably.
I do like when there's artwork in the inside here. We got a little
Gothic setting.
Well, I do like Gothic stuff, so it looks cool. It's definitely a maybe for me. She's got to check her Goodreads and see if this is on her list. But like I was saying before, and what she probably thought it was from a different series we've been looking at, because there's like 3 different ones that look like this with the snake and the skull.
Well, it's right here now. It is a number 1.
Is it something you want to take?
Yeah.
She's taking it. It is a read for Bethany.
I think so. But the fairies come first.
All right. I do not know anything about this book. Never heard of it before. It's got cool cover art, though. I like the cover art. I'm going to pass because it's a number 2 and don't know much about this one.
It's got 4 stars out of 5 on Goodreads.
Young adult fantasy. I'm going to pass on it. You interested in this at all?
No.
Here's one. Definitely going to be a keep.
Oh, yeah.
For me.
Yeah. Adventures.
It's a trilogy. Magic, Mayhem, High Seas. So that's the number 1.
It's a 4.27 stars out of 5. It's tags to go with it. Fantasy, historical fiction, pirates, adventure, adult, historical fantasy, magic.
I think this is probably gonna...
Yeah.
Both of us are interested in this one?
Yeah, that's staying in the house.
Alright. And it's very cool
the
cover.
first.
Next up, we have... The fairies come first.
The fairies come first.
We have Mike Malak, the 5th Vital. So if you guys don't know who Mike Malak is, he is on Impulsive Logan Paul podcast. He's the co-host. He has his own YouTube channel. I am going to read this book. It is not fantasy. It's a biography about his overcoming his heroin and drug addiction.
You do like the biographies.
So I do love biographies. I do watch his YouTube, so I am a fan of his. And I'm actually excited to read this book. It's going to be probably very dark and depressing, but overcoming. And it's awesome where he is now in life and coming from a heroin addiction. So definitely look forward to reading this book. Definitely check that out if you like biography books. Next up, I think we own this book, but I still had to pick up the copy. Is this the second in the Dune series here?
I think so. Look at that worm, dude. Are you
Big
gonna read
worm?
Dune?
I don't think I'm gonna read Dune.
Dude, if my mom can read all 3 of them.
It's more sci-fi. I'm not very interested in reading that much sci-fi. I've heard from people that this is a very hard book to get through, at least the first one. But also, this book is a top book on a lot of people's series too.
Yeah. So
I'm not a big fan of sci-fi. I'm just not very interested in reading sci-fi. You can attack me in the comments. That's fine. I bought the whole series for you. So are you gonna pass? Or are you gonna read? Or are we gonna sell the whole set?
No, I'm gonna read it. If my mom can read it.
This is the second one.
All of them. I can read them.
You can do it.
I can do it. I can. I plan to. I mean, one of my favorite books is sci-fi. You know, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It is just super fun.
Sci-fi comedy, though?
It is a sci-fi comedy, and it's super fun. So it moves really well. I feel like these don't move as fast, and they're not as fast-paced. I'm committing to it.
It'd be like reading the first Star Trek book where they're explaining the guy that floats in the movie for 20 minutes in the beginning opening scene of one of the Star Trek films.
It was like the first
Very
one.
slow moving.
He did. He moved.
I heard that's like 3 chapters in the book of the guy just floating.
Okay, this coming from the guy that read The Hobbit, and there's the whole beginning of The Hobbit is that whole song that goes on forever.
It's epic.
It's
not that long though. The thing about The Hobbit, it's very surprising that they made 3 movies out of a book that's only this big.
It is.
So they definitely
stretched
a lot out. I'm just gonna set this over here. You read the first one. If you get through it and you recommend it to me, maybe I'll think about it.
But I like watching. Like I've watched a lot more sci-fi than you have.
Yeah, but I like sci-fi.
You like it within limitations.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna get hated on if we get comments here about. I'm just saying. I don't even really care for Star Wars, so.
I'm not a big Star Wars person.
I like the Star Trek movies over Star Wars.
I've watched everything, including the whole Star Trek series. I've watched all that stuff. I love that. I love Battlestar Galactica. I love Stargate.
Back to books. We're going on a movie rant here now.
We went on a movie rant.
This book, let's start with, came, and I always like getting a book with a free bookmark. It's got a little dragon on there, so maybe not keep the book, but I'm keeping the bookmark.
What is the book? Oh, that's not what I was thinking based on the back of the book. I'm going with sci-fi?
It looks sci-fi-ish with a dragon, though, or a snake. I'm not sure what's on the cover.
Final Adventure of
It's not Pimp, but it's Pip. Pip and Flix. Flix Transcendent. Okay. Figure it out. This is science fiction.
No way!
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed.
You just heard my rant about sci-fi, so I'm just gonna take
I don't know.
the bookmark and move on with my life. He's really got a grip on that snake. Snake dragon thing.
I can't do it.
Should we read
He's
it?
got a grip on the snake.
Alright, so this is definitely a pass for me.
By the snake.